Hello, slimy furtlers. Today we're going to do something, I don't know, I'll say a bit different, but I'm not quite sure whether I've done this sort of thing before, I can't remember. But yeah, we're going to have a look-see here. Now, what we've got is, recently I got the rulebook for this game, which is called Gaslands. It's a book by Osprey Publishing, well, a book and a tabletop wargame, board game, whatever you want to call it. By Osprey, and it's fairly cheap. I picked mine up for £7 on eBay. You can the cover price on it's £11.99, but shop around and things like that. And the game basically involves these little buggers, which are sort of small toy cars. I've been restoring and customizing these sort of things. Hot Wheels, Matchbox, Majorette, Real Toy, Maisto, stuff like that for a while, and I just thought I'd get the Gaslands game and give it the once over, and then see about doing some cars for the game. Whether I play it or not, I don't know. There's a few people I do know that play it, but you never seem to hear anything about any kind of meet up and let's play some games night. But unlike other stuff, like Bolt Action, 40k, things like that, at least I can do the cars and whatnot, and the actual game itself is really cheap. Unlike Games Workshop stuff, put a team together, put an army together, doesn't require like £100 and months of painting and fucking about and everything like that. So this is going to be my team for Gaslands, or the first team I'm going to do. But we're not going to talk about the other cars just yet. Just today I want to focus on just this one here. So we'll just shift all this other stuff out of the way. There we go. So there's the one I'm going to be concentrating on today. The actual base car is a Matchbox Hairy Hustler car from the 1970s. I thought because of the kind of sort of 1980s direct-to-video sci-fi, feel that the game Gaslands has, this sort of car would, look great as the kind of lead car of my team. It's got that kind of sort of wedgy shape and everything like that futuristic, or quote-unquote futuristic-looking cars of the, the 70s and 80s had. And yeah, so I've cheated a little bit with this one. I've already stripped it. I actually stripped it a few weeks ago, but then just put it aside, and I've only just got round to being able to do it. So the actual stats for the game this is classed as a performance car with 2 build slots. So just to let you see what the in-game stats for this car will be, I'll just pop the vehicle dashboard card up round about here. Okay, so let's get to stripping it down. As I say, I've already cheated with this one a little bit, so it's already been kind of drilled and drilled out and stripped and everything. But we'll take her apart, and I'll get my little helpers in to take her apart. So come on, lads, in you come. Okay, thanks, lads. You've done a marvellous job. You can off you get, and thanks for not nicking any of the stuff. So here's the main components the car's made out of. We've got the body shell, the chassis with the wheels in here. You can see the wheels in there, held in by this plastic clip, which you can just drill these posts out and remove. We've got the internals, which is a horrible chrome colour. I really dislike chrome interiors. And then just the windscreen here, which is a orangey yellow plastic, and as you can see it's got some scratches and stuff on it, so we'll need to tidy that up. But those are the main components for the car. First and foremost, I'll start work on the body shell, which as you can see I've already stripped, and I've given it a once over with a a metal brush to get this kind of brushed aluminium, but it's not going to be like that because I'm going to undercoat it and undercoat and paint it in a police livery of my choice, which I'm at this point I'm not really 100% decided on what colour I'm going to do, so we'll just kind of make it up as we go along, really.
1 hour later.
So before any actual, painting or anything takes place, I'm going to need to decide what I want the end product to look like. So here we just have a little picture of the car as is, already stripped and ready to start work on. And I've just done a rough sketch of what bits I'm going to need to make and how I'm going to fit them. So the end product will end up looking a bit more like this, which I will probably change as I go along, depending on what materials I have available and, whether I can do it or not, because I do kind of suffer from shaky hands and everything like that, so I have to be really careful about, some of the finer details. Speaking of materials, I generally like to use inexpensive materials, stuff I find around the house, and and stuff like that. So here's a picture of some of the things I'll be using to make this this conversion or custom or whatever you want to call it. Just simple things here: drinking straw, some wooden drink stirrers, cocktail sticks, paper clips, things like that. So let's start with the actual making of the car then. So I'm going to make the air intakes here. I apologise for the bad lighting here, but I just start off with a bit of plastic drinking straw because it's flexible and can, basically go into whatever shape I want. I cut 2 sections off, then make a slit down each section. The sections are just as long as the back end of the car here. Bit of super glue on there to hold it in place, and a bit of finagling to get it to stick in the right place. A bit more super glue, fold it over, and because it's so soft I can make it into whatever shape I want. My hands actually start playing up here, so it gets a bit of a thing, but eventually I managed to get there. The straws being a nice soft plastic material, they basically mould into the shape I want. If my hands weren't playing up, then I've probably done it better. Okay, so moving on to making the gun, and with improved lighting, probably because I did this one during the day. Start off by straightening out a paper clip, and stripping the rubber off it. I make a little mounting frame out of paperclip material. It's just a piece of wire bent round and then glued onto the top of the car where I want the gun to go. I start off by putting a drop of glue onto the frame that I've made, and then sort of getting and finagling a bit to get the the first barrel in place. I'm going to end up making a 4-barreled gun. I've tried several times to make a 6-barrel gun, and my hands just won't let me do it. But so it takes a while for the the glue to eventually stick. For some reason, super glue has no problem sticking to your fingers, but if you try sticking anything else with it, no, it takes a while. So that's 1 barrel in place. For the second barrel, again, another straightened out paper clip. You'll see what I'm doing when I sort of get towards the end. Put another paper clip in place, and then try and glue it on top. It was at this point that again my hands started hurting, so I remembered I got a set of helping hands. They're probably one of the most useful things ever. They hold it in place. Another dab of super glue on there because the original glue had sort of dried up and gone away, and then what the car holds in place, and we end up with the first 2 barrels. Okay, so after some finagling off camera, I managed to get the other 4 barrels on. There we are. So we now have a 4-barrel minigun. Just clip the rods down to length and filed them down a bit to make sure that the tips were flat, although you can't see that very well here. Added a bit of plastic straw over the top to act as like a cowling. Then we moved on to building the actual full cowling itself, which I used a bit of plastic cut from the side of a pot that was headed for the bin. The stuff is nice and strong, and you can also bend it into shapes, cut it and everything. So I just cut a piece out and just measured it and mounted it, kind of thing, fiddled about with it. Cut another piece off so that everything would fit together nicely and glued it on. There we go, and I put another piece of straw on there because the main cowling was a bit too short. But then I used more of the plastic stuff off the butter pot to make the spoiler. It's just a simple case of cutting a piece off and bending it round. The stuff is just as good as the kind of modeller's plastic thing. It might be a bit tougher. But then we moved on to painting, and as you can see here, I'm just using a rattle can of, well, it says white plastic primer, but I've never had any problems applying it to metal. As long as you get a nice, even coat, it does great. Some people say like, oh, why aren't you using an airbrush? Well, the thing is, I don't have one. I can't really afford one. As you can see, I'm having to spray the rattle can out the window because I don't actually have anywhere where I could set up a thing for airbrushing. I generally use rattle cans for the main colour applications on things, undercoats and main body colours. If I have that colour available in a rattle can to me, I don't like to spend too much money here on the stuff like that. So here we have the basic undercoat, and then I put a yellow coat over the top of it. Then I put some orange ink on just to bring out some of the areas and darken the yellow down a little. Red, blue, both matte, just to mark out the areas. Tidy it up a little bit, put gloss paint over the top, and then finally, pick out detailing, bits like that, and we ended up with this. There we go, that's the finished article there. I'm just getting a little bit, and yeah, it's turned out pretty nice. I put some clear lacquer over the top just to seal all the paint and everything in, and it's come out great. I've picked out some of the details on the back here, if you can see, some headlights and exhaust pipes. I used my chrome pen to just touch up the hubcaps on the wheels, and also chrome pen the barrels of the gun, so you can see they're still not quite thick. I also painted the interior. I got rid of that horrible chrome interior, and I painted the driver's seat a mix of dark blue with some lighter blue headlights. Fortunately, the effect is lost due to the orange tint of the windscreen. Speaking of the windscreen, I did try and buff out some of the scratches and everything on it. I got rid of a lot of the scratches and stuff, but some of it was just welling. I don't have a buffing tool or anything like that, so I can't really get them all out. But yeah, in the end, it's come out okay. It's I probably could have done better. The problem is, it's like I say, when I get going, my hands start shaking and I start getting joint pain and everything. So still got some black spray on my thumb from when I did that. Oh dear. Yeah, but to make this video, it's taken me about 4 days. Mainly due to the kind of setup I've got here. I don't have any lights or anything like that, which is why I took to mostly doing pictures of stuff instead of video of me painting things. Simply because I've got no lights, I've got none of this fancy stuff that other people who do car videos or customizing toy car videos on YouTube have. It's not something that I plan on taking up full time or anything like that. So excuse the poor quality of the video, video quality. But yeah, this is it. This is the first car for my highway patrol team. The color scheme is quite obviously based on the Main Force Patrol from the first Mad Max film. There was a couple of things I was thinking about doing when I was painting it up, like putting a bronze star on the front of the car here, but I couldn't paint one, and I don't have a printer or anything for making my own decals, so I can't do that. I'd quite like to have put like the MFP along the sides here or something like that, but it's come out fine. Maybe in the future I can get some get some transfers printed and stick them on, then give it another blast with lacquer. But yeah, there we go. With the time it's taken and the effort, I maximum respect to the guys who do this kind of thing, as the main focus of their channels. It takes a long time, and you seriously have to invest some money in it to get there. Just a quick thingy on some of the one of the reasons why I don't mind the scratches on the windscreen so much, and then these little bits here where I got super glue and then I started trying to scrape it off with a scalpel, tidy it up and everything like that. Bearing in mind that the game Gaslands is set in post-apocalyptic future, temporary repairs, you got bits here like a divot there. Welding, had to weld a panel back on, and then you got bits here where they've had to weld and get rusty and you know, painted over it, and there's a little tiny imperfection in the paint on the bonnet, which you can put down to, you know, it's just being hastily painted over and everything like that. You know, this is supposed to be the unit's top performance car, but they're having to make do with, you know, repairs and stuff as they can, because obviously in the post-apocalyptic future things aren't always nice. But yeah, so anyways, thank you for watching this video if you watched it, and yeah, and we'll see you at some other point. I may do a video with the other cars in the squadron that I'm making. Maybe I will, maybe I won't, I don't know yet. But thanks for watching anyway. See you later. Bye bye.